Greetings to another video on Happy International Women's Day. So today I thought I would do a quick video just talking about, I guess, some of the things and the challenges that I guess faced and then ultimately got over when I started cycling, and talk about some of the women that really inspire me, and then just answer a couple of your questions just to try and encourage so many more men and women specifically to get into cycling, because for me it had that is the single most important thing I think I ever did, was getting back on a bike as an adult. And yeah, I just want to share a few things that helped me that hopefully can help you. So I guess the main things when I got into it were my weight, because I was 100 kilos, clothing to fit, what else? Traffic, routing, I was not great at navigation, and what other things? I guess my overall fitness, I wasn't particularly fit when I started cycling. So I guess to address those, I guess the first thing, I got into traffic first, because that was the major thing. So when I first started riding, I don't know, I just was not very confident in traffic. And I think to get over that, I literally bought a bike in the middle of Adelaide city centre, CBD as Australians call it, and I had to ride home. So I had to ride through traffic. I just basically just dropped myself right in the middle of it and was like, you just have to do this. So I think that was the most, it sounds really basic, but I just did it. I forced myself to do it. And I think because I'd driven for years before that, I was kind of like, I understood how roads work, but I think that was the best thing for me, was just getting into it. And I know I did feel scared doing it, but as with all fears and all things that we're scared of, we should just face them head on, get in, do it. And then actually you realise afterwards that it's not actually that scary. I think that's going to be the theme of a lot of these things, that once you actually start doing them, they're not as scary as you initially thought. So my weight, so I felt so conscious. I was, like I said, I was 100 kilos. I felt conscious. I didn't want to wear like skin tight lycra head to toe. I just didn't want to do it. And so when I started, I just wore what I was comfortable in, which was leggings and a t-shirt, and it was fine. And the people that we're riding with, they weren't cycling snobs. I see that there is some of that within the cycling world, but no matter what gender or weight you are, you'll find people that are really, most people I found are very inclusive, very friendly, and actually want to help. So what else was there? And then my fitness, again, just ride with like amazing people, and find a club that is inclusive, that have maybe a women's specific like area of their club that they do women's rides, because women's rides I think are so essential for women to feel comfortable, especially on the roads and riding. Because I just think women generally are a lot more, what's the word? I just think we look after each other a little bit more. So definitely try and find a club for like women. And then fitness, I just rode. I just kept doing it, and I didn't really care how unfit I was. I knew I wanted to get fitter, so I just carried on and just got stuck into it. And the thing that really, really inspired and encouraged me to get fitter was seeing other women ride. And I know this is going to be different for everybody, but what I find inspiring is going to be different. I know a lot of people, and I think a lot of people are inspired by pro riders, and we can never like underestimate what Tour de France and the Olympics did for cycling. But for me personally, I have always been more inspired by people that I know and friends of friends that I see doing things. So when I first started riding in 2013, it was like end of 2013, start of 2014, I think it was 2014 actually, a girl called Nicole was at this festival in Thailand, Australian girl called Nicole. She just did all these things on a bike that I always wanted to do. And I was just like, oh, I just can't wait until I'm fit enough to be able to do the things that she did. Like, she was one of the first women that I ever knew to Everest. She was one of the first women that I knew to do this. There was like a 200k out and back ride in Thailand, up Doi Inthanon and back. It was like over 200k. It was this 40k climb mountain. It was insane. And that was who initially inspired me to want to do longer things. And then I'll leave her Instagram below if you want. She races now, so I'll leave her Instagram below. Another woman that really, like, this woman got me really into endurance riding. Her name's Grace, and she had a blog, and she was training to do Transcontinental Race, which is a race across Europe. And she had a blog talking about all the Audaxes that she was doing leading up to Transcontinental. So she was doing, at this point, I'd done like a couple of 200Ks, maybe a handful of them. And she'd started doing like 300, 400, 600K rides. I think she went to go to France to do one of them. Anyway, I was absolutely just so, what's the word? Anyway, I loved reading this blog. I was like waiting for the new post. I wanted to hear about all the new rides that she'd done. And that inspired me so much. I was like, if she can do it, why can I not give it a go? So that was another massive push into endurance that she really encouraged me to do. And then my friend Ange, so she, also the woman that, one of two women actually, that set up All Points North. So she and her riding partner, Julie, they were the first women pair to complete Transcontinental Race, or the race across Europe. And seeing them do that, and knowing who Ange was, and I met her once on an Audax, and I was like I was a bit fangirly, to be honest, because I was like, she'd just done all these incredible things, and I didn't know many women in my everyday life that had done these awesome, amazing, incredible, massive things. And it just really inspired me. And I think, and I'm going to address these things in like a Q&A, but seeing them do that, and I was like, I can ride through the night. If they're going to do it, I can ride through the night. Because these are all the fears that I had. I can ride on my own, like hundreds of kilometres. If these people are doing it, why can I not do it? Why have I got these like fears that might not even be based on fact? Do you know what I mean? I think, and this is another thing, I think as women, I think from being kids, and specifically from my generation, and I think, I don't know whether it's the same now, but we were just always taught that not to go anywhere on our own, not to, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm the youngest of two daughters. I don't know, you tell me what your experiences are with this, but I don't know, I just feel like we were a lot more like wrapped in cotton wool almost, and that we shouldn't do things that could put us in risk or at danger. But I think it is the case generally for a lot of women. And I had those fears in my head. And you tell me some of your fears as a woman, as a female cyclist. What are those fears? And I think for most people, and even still for me, is that like being scared of being on your own. Because like, and I even still do it now, where at night, if I'm riding on my own, my hair, I tuck it away into my jersey because I don't want people to see hair and then know that or make it easy to spot that I'm female. I mean, I'm sure you can probably tell maybe from the back that I am female, but I just try and do everything I can to try and disguise that fact. And like that shouldn't be an issue, should it? That definitely shouldn't happen. And I can't do a video about International Women's Day without talking about the Internationals, because they are a massive, huge inspiration, because they so basically they're a group of women from all over the world that came together in 2019 to ride the men's Tour de France route, to campaign for a women's Tour de France, which now has ultimately happened. And Lou, one of my friends, that's how I met her, when she was riding the course. I saw her Instagram and I was like, these women are incredible. And she's just so honest and just raw about how she was feeling doing this whole route and why she was doing it. I was like, I love this woman already. I've not even met her. And they've just done awesome things for women cycling. And I know firsthand how much they've inspired so many women, and myself included. And they also did an Everesting. So in 2020, when COVID happened, and they couldn't get out to do like Tour de France, they basically Everested in Wales. So I rode down to see them, and then seeing them do it, I was just like, these women are incredible. And then when I was riding, after watching them finish it and complete it, I will leave a link to that video below, I got it in my head that I was going to Everest. I'm like, if these women are doing it, I'm going to do it. And it was seeing them firsthand completing it that I was like, I'm going to give it a go. And then I subsequently did my first Everest. So Yeah, incredible. Next inspiration of mine is Emily Chappell. She's going to be a little bit embarrassed about, I think that's probably why I actually really like, one of the things I find endearing about her is because she encourages so many people, but she's so kind of down to earth, modest about it. But she won the transcontinental race, the women's, she was basically the first woman in transcontinental. I think it was 2018. And again, like her being so real and honest, and she's written a couple of books, I'll leave a link to those below, in such like a honest way that is just encouraging. And I remember seeing it, that was actually, I saw her talk at Rafa years ago before I'd done really any endurance. And in fact, that was the same year that Grace was training to do Transcon. And hearing like how she talked about riding and how like sometimes hard it was just so refreshing to hear that. And it made me feel like, oh, I'm normal. Like this is hard sometimes. And it just really encouraged me and pushed me to do a lot more endurance riding. And then finally, one last person who I really want to give a massive shout out to is a woman called Imogen. And I'll leave a link to this video. I did a video with her years ago, and she's had so many, like, just had to deal with a lot of difficult things in her life. And she now rides and she puts on so many fun group rides down in Cornwall. And every time I go on Facebook, we're friends on Facebook, every time I go on there, there's always something fun she's doing. I kind of wish I lived near her so that I could do all these fun things. But what I really like about her is her like dedication to doing basically anything, and always encouraging and always trying to be a massive support for the people that are around her. And I think that's something that we should 100% remember. And that was the main reason that I want to film this video, is that I think a lot of us underestimate the things that we do. And I think it's important to remember that you right now watching at home, wherever you are watching this, maybe you're at work, get back to work, you don't know who you are currently inspiring. So just don't stop. Don't feel like what you're doing is not good enough, because you really don't know the people that you're inspiring. Not everyone's always going to tell you. So yeah, just keep it up. So I think on that note, happy International, I can't even say it now. Happy International Women's Day. I was going to do like a Q&A in this, but I've just been talking way too long. So I'm going to do a separate video on some of those questions. So yeah, any other questions that you want included in that video to do with women's cycling, to do with fears, anything that's preventing you doing something in your cycling journey, leave them in the comments and I'll add that into that video. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all next video. Goodbye. Bye.